Okay, let's move to the next presentation, Transforming E-commerce Business from Startup to Scale Up by Tapan Acharya, who is the CRO with Omni. To give you a background, Tapan is responsible for the entire customer funnel and the revenue. In the last 2 decades, he has worked with software and SaaS companies like IBM, Microsoft, Salesforce, Akamai, Freshwork, etc. in his various roles from market development to business management. All to you, Tapan sir, to start off with your presentation, sir.
Thank you, Sandeep. It is always a pleasure to be, at UBS forums, and the kind of quality content that you cover is fantastic always. And my best regards actually to Samdani ji. It's a pleasure to listen to him, listen to a practitioner's approach in his presentation, the way he cut out the personas, the way he, talked about advanced topics. It was fantastic to listen to him. So, Samdani ji, my compliments to you. Fantastic presentation. Sandeep, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Great. So, it is exactly actually a matter of coincidence that if you measure the age of the e-commerce industry from the birth of Flipkart, e-commerce industry is now a teenager. And then that's where you talk about from startup to scale up. And I was when I was listening to Sam, I was just thinking that how from startup to scale up things change, and lots of data is already covered by Sabdani ji. So I would not talk about in detail, but some important points to take a look at is the e-commerce shipments now are upwards of a 150 million shipments per month, and which is a 36% growth from the previous quarter. Now, this entire new 36%, 90% of the new volume is coming from tier 2, tier 3 cities. Now, this means absolute new user acquisitions and tier 2, tier 3 towns, creating a new demand. Some of the aspects of our country, we know that our population is a very, very young population. 65% of our people is less than 35 years of age. So there's a very, very high demand to consume new goods. So the canvas of India is completely at a different stage, and the backbone which India has prepared. When I state backbone, there are three components to it: the backbone of digital payments, the backbone of internet and logistics, and of course the backbone of the commerce and these aspects to support an online commerce. So that said, there's a massive opportunity in India, and Samdani ji has already talked about that. Now, when I'm talking about from startup to scale up, the large part of it is what's the difference when you're doing e-commerce as a startup. It's a very small part of the P&L, and it's not a major force behind it. But when it becomes to a scale up, each of the suboptimal points starts to make a deep impact. Now, it's a very obvious topic for me to talk about, because previously, some time back or before the pandemic, if I may say, an e-commerce or a omni-channel play was less than 5% for any lifestyle category brand or a fashion brand. But now in many categories, e-commerce and the online play is approximately 30 to 40% of the entire P&L. Now, at such a scale, when your business is 30 to 40% of the entire P&L, the inefficiencies really bite a lot. In the past, when somebody was doing just an e-commerce startup, you could afford to have separate inventory. मेरी ये inventory online के लिए रहेगी, this inventory will be for my offline. But now you cannot afford that. You have to have a unified inventory powering all the channels, because you can't afford to have so much working capital stuck in separate channel wise inventory. Also, from a logistics perspective, the logistics charges, if there is some inefficiency, it wouldn't matter much. For example, if you're doing all warehouse model and warehouse delivery, if you're not optimized on a logistics cost, it wouldn't show up too much. But at a very large scale, unless you're having store delivery, unless you're having local pockets in each state delivering around you, it becomes very, very inefficient. Also, the kind of inefficiency you get on cancellations, because the higher is the logistics cost and the higher is the time to deliver. That's really, really massive. Also, what happens in the past when e-commerce was just a startup, people were thinking that, okay, e-commerce buyers used to buy old stock merchandise, discounted merchandise, but that's not the case anymore. People want NSM and OSM together. In fact, they want larger and larger assortment for them so that they can have much more choice of goods to buy. And customer experience, which Sam has talked about, is a lot there. The way you identify a customer, and I'm going to talk about more, and the way you just go beyond just home delivery is very much required. So that's the difference in a startup and a scale up. I was trying to get to a method to this madness, that when you actually go from startup to scale up, what are the things that you should keep into consideration. So from startup to scale up, I devised a 3-point framework. That first you need to connect, then converge and converse. When I say connect, you need to connect, and I'm going to talk about in detail. So connect, converge, converse is the framework that I'm following for startup to scale up. So at a connect phase, you connect all your various channels into the same assortment. It could be physical channel, it could be marketplaces, it could be your website, it could be social commerce, conversational commerce. All should sip into the same OMS. And this was also talked about a topic of Salesforce, that you have to have a That's not innovation. But then how do you go beyond home delivery? By understanding your customers, how do you give them various other options to marry the online and the offline, give various experiences? And that's very, very important. And the third step is converse. How do you have the optimum conversation customers, right? So I ROI or the kind of unified promos and offers according to your customer, very important topic. So what I'll do is that I'll directly jump into how do you solve onto this framework. So I'm going to spend about 5 minutes on this. So connecting, right now, you have various pockets of inventory. It could be stores, it could be dark stores, warehouses. You have various systems, OMS, LMS, WMS, and a huge amount of fragmentation all across. The first step at a scale up position is to connect these. So all channels should be sipping into your store. Now, there are various kind of benefits that you get across it, and I'm going to talk about it later. But this gives you a huge benefit. You have unified inventory. You can do cross-channel order management. You could, serve from your warehouse, MBOs, and you have a unified assortment powering the entire all the channels. So your store is doubling up. The role of your store has changed. The role of your store staff has changed. In their free time, they are possibly doing packaging. They are chatting on WhatsApp with your customers and inviting them to the stores. They are doing social connects. So the role of the store is changing big time. The benefits that you get out of it is you get unified inventory, you get better assortment, and you get working capital optimization. And I've seen the benefits of this for more than 1 million orders per month kind of a rate. What we see is that, and also due to the pandemic, the interstate logistics costs, etc., are very, very high. Or the reverse leverages on parking working capital channel wise is killing to retailers. Unless and until you optimize and make this a pillar, a solid framework pillar, it is very difficult to move forward. And in my words, store fulfillment, store delivery is actually one of the most important steps to do. It's in fact now a movement and an evolution, while the e-commerce is moving on to the teenage and maturity phase of its life. Also very important to have your systems connected. If you have your OMS separate than your loyalty reward system, if it is separate then from your payment system, if you don't have a unified CRM and you cannot recognize your customer, if it is not connected to your WMS or an IMS or a logistics management system, it will create havoc. It is very important to understand or have these systems talk. So it's very important to be on a cloud where these systems are talking to each other. My second step in the framework is to converge. Now here I clearly want you to go beyond the home delivery aspect, and I'm going to take category specific examples here, what is working pretty well. So it is very important to have customer journey maps. And customer journey maps, what is your customer expecting? The key point that we forget is actually our customer is omni-channel. Our customer is buying online, buying offline. Our customer is buying through all channels. And as sellers, we are not omni-channel. A customer wants to have a subscription model, and as sellers, we don't have a subscription model. That's pretty limiting. It is pretty different to the orientation of the customer. And each of this gives a great benefit. And let me take a few category specific examples. Now, once you're able to converge all the channels, you can offer many benefits. For example, you can offer buy online, pick up in store, buy online, ship from store. You can offer same day delivery, 2-hour delivery. Now, let me take an example. Let's say a new iPhone gets launched, or Samsung launches a new category leader phone. The e-commerce platform who's able to provide 2-hour delivery or is able to provide 3-hour delivery or same day delivery is going to change the entire demand in the beginning. And people can order, or they can buy online, block their product in the store and go and pick it up in store. Or if the seller can offer a staff delivery, if their regular customers can buy online and the staff can deliver, and if they can have various serviceable options, it is a fantastic experience. The same is, as Samdani ji also took an example of, fast is always not the great, but the returns management. If there is something, if the person wants to return, can they return it in the store? And the returns management is a very important piece of the puzzle in online and e-commerce satisfaction. So these journeys which build a lot in customer experience is massive. Also now, the aspect that if a person takes the effort and goes to the store is the temple of the. It should not be a situation that if they go to the store and they are not able to close the transaction, or they come back empty-handed. So they should be having very many options in the store, like a save the sale or an endless aisle, to see a product, if they want a different size of the product, if they want a different type of the product, color, etc., they could choose it if it's not in the store and have that home delivered, or at a specific time. Also aspects of buy online, ship from store, buy online, pick up in store, buy online, return at store. These aspects generate a huge amount of footfall. I was talking to many mall owners 3 weeks back, and I was telling them that, and they were talking about how online shopping, how Flipkart, Myntra, Amazon is a huge competition to their business. I said, no, Flipkart, Amazon, Myntra are your partners. People should be able to buy on the marketplace, and the seller should be able to ship it from the mall or fulfill it on a curbside. And they should be having the entire aspect in place to give a different experience to the brand. And in India, we are a very underserviced economy. A mall in a city caters to approximately 200 kilometers of small or medium towns around them. So when a person is coming to the mall, they should be able to, look at it online. They should be able to shop a particular store, what's there in the store, and then go ahead and shop many different items. So many expectations are changing. Very nicely talked about from FMCG perspective. Now India, and there's an article today in the newspaper about how the India FMCG space is evolving with the online thing. So there's a QR code on the on the newspaper. You scan the QR code, and the order gets routed to a nearby Kirana store. Or you can, by scanning the QR code, you start a conversation on WhatsApp, and it can be fulfilled by the Kirana store. So lot many things are possible by doing the second step, which is converge, if you're able to converge the online offline buying journeys. And my last step in this is converse. So it's very important, and talk very well by Samdani ji, is how do you have to personalize the selling. And I'm going to talk about a few use cases there, that how analytics is important, that which assortment in which particular regions are moving fast, what is the next best action and recommendation for the customer. How do you give a promo along with your partners that this is a payment partner, this kind of a payment would be very good for this particular product? How do you give a unified promo? How do you give a customer specific communication? I'm sure there are many of us in the session today who have not read all their SMSs. Who has time to read SMS, all the SMSs? Because there's so much junk communication thrown to us. So a communication relevant to me, a unified CRM, if I am buying the brand online or anywhere, I should be able to reach to them. Or even at the store. Now, let's say when the store's role is changing, the store staff should be able to see all orders on a single app. Okay, this is a Myntra order, or this is a Flipkart order, this is a website order, this is an Amazon order, or this is a customer who's walked inside my store, but the customer is a very valuable customer, they buy a lot online. So all these things are very, very, very important. I just want to also end my presentation in the next 2 minutes with a 6-step, a checklist. In my previous presentation with UBS about 3-4 weeks back or 1 month back, I had actually posted a P&L that what is the P&L impact of a non-omni-channel system, which is flowing in an omni-channel system. So if you want to check that out. If you want a separate session, let me know. So the first checklist, the first item in the checklist is to have connect and converge together. You should be able to have a single order management system. It's very important to evolve to a vocabulary of a storefront. A storefront, which could be a digital storefront, social storefront, marketplace storefront, but all orders should come into the same OMS. And it should be able to allocate the orders into various stores and should be connected to the logistics management player to deliver where the customer wants, how the customer wants, when the customer wants the product. All that aspect. That's the first important checklist. Second is process transformation support. Massive important. Now, see, when the role of the store is changing, you have physical customers, or in the beginning, let's say you have the Big Billion Days sale and the guy opens the shutter and he sees 100 orders allocated to that stores. So how to train the staff, how to optimize the staff, how to manage, how to help them manage their time between packaging, the right way doing this, between keep the assortment in the right place. So a process transformation support is required. It's very important to have the right business metric. What is your RTV, RTO? How to decrease their percentages, how to measure cancellation rates, how to ensure the logistics and the pickups don't fail, how to ensure that the first mile of the pickup is always on time and it is a successful pickup. When returns happen, how to tackle that. So the business metrics needs to become in very, very clearly. Individual steps of the journey to be optimized. Each aspect, payment, collections, returns, each of this has to be optimized from startup to scale up. Very, very important point, reduction in logistics cost. All of us are aware, and most of the people attending this are champions. They are aware that what is the difference in logistics cost for an interstate delivery and the same state delivery? What is the impact on cancellation when you're able to deliver the product in 2 hours and 3 hours vis-a-vis 3 days? And what is the impact on the conversion? It's very important to measure that and take this forward. And lastly, but most important, is to have the right incentive plans. I say this very often, that what sunlight is to plants is what money is to human beings. What sunlight is to plants is what incentives or money is to human beings. So if the rightly you incentivize the store staff, the rightly you incentivize the right process steps, what gets rewarded gets repeated. So it's very important to have the right things in place there to take this forward. I've been able to help about 100 brands do this over the last few years. and working very closely with all the partners. I'll be very happy to help you rethink retail and answer any questions whenever required. That's the presentation from my end. Sandeep, over to you.
Thank you, sir, for the time and the presentation. It's always a pleasure to hear you with the insights that you bring for the industry. Yes, for sure, we have many questions. I will read out few of them, and then we will reach out to people if we have time to unmute and ask question, but I'll read out few of them. Avinav Singh asks, sir, could you please throw some light on how you can reduce transit time from volumetric products that are shipped via surface mode?
Okay, so it's so the way I can help you with that, and I have helped in the past, and I don't understand the word volumetric, is by ensuring that the same state, nearby localities, or the metros are fulfilling those orders. Instead, it is getting routed to a single warehouse. So we provide a order hopping logic. Through the order hopping logic, we logically see that what is the fastest mode available to the customer for that particular product, and the order gets routed to that fulfillment center, store, or near to the customer. And then seamlessly, the rightful logistics partner strong in that area gets the order, and the metrics are set for them to deliver. So that's how we do it. I'm not sure if it's for the volumetric product also. Sandeep, you're on mute.
Sorry. On Soumik Chaudhary is asking, on this point, how do you plan to match visual merchandise in the virtual world?
Visual merchandise is a very, very important topic, not just in physical, but the online world as well. It is very important that people transition from buying a product to shopping a look, or having a kind of a video through which you can shop a look. We assist many brands who are experimenting with that. For example, Sephora, we sell for Sephora, Gap, Calvin Klein, etc. So we on online world also we help people create shop a look, or create videos to see in the real world that if there is a particular assortment, then how does that happen. But there are a lot of AR VR advancements are also going on to take that further, and in many which ways people can analyze the product in a very three-dimensional manner. But it's very important. Currently what we're doing is like creating a look, and through various of these videos we are doing that today. But a very important topic.
Okay, so there is one more question. What does the store associate systems look like if Omni is implemented? Will the staff be reduced or increased to handle the technology and address customer needs?
I think so. This question has to be looked in a different way. I'll talk actual numbers. Before the pandemic, my order volume was X. Now, because of pandemic, because of increase in online population, my order volume is more than 5X. What was X before? Store staff, and I'll tell you a personal example. I went to a store without telling my identity, to an omni-channel store. And I told him, and I'm talking in Hindi, so pardon my, so I said, what तू मुझे जो बेच रहा है 30% discount पे, वो तो online 40% discount पे मिल रहा है. So should I buy it online or should I buy it in your store? He said, sir, buy it online. I said, then what about your incentive? उसने बोला, सर मुझे पैकिंग भी करके रखूंगा तो मुझे इंसेंटिव मिलता है. And it is not about reducing staff. Your order volume is so massive. India is a very, very underserved economy. A person who's buying online and offline buys 2.5 times more than a person who's buying just offline. And the staff will get busy. They will get newer roles. They have to pack the product. They have to serve the customer. Our Omni system sits on the staff's mobile phone. And I have showed it very gently in my presentation, and I can share it with anyone and give a demo of that later on. So it sits on the person's mobile phone. So the person actually is able to optimize the pitch, which people who understand retail know that the maximum power is in clienteling. When this person who's sitting in the store knows who's walking in my store, how to serve that person, the conversion is completely different. Trust me, it is not about cutting the staff. It is using technology and converting many more orders.
Okay. Okay. So we do have many questions, but because of time constraint, I have to move to the next presentation. But again, I will also request you to please address these questions in the chat box, please, sir.
Sure, I will do that, Sandeep. Also, if you can just create a list of these questions and email it to me,
Yes.
I will have answered them and sent it back to you for the relevant folks.
Definitely, sir. We'll do that immediately after the webinar, sir.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you for patiently listening to me.
Thank you, sir, for your time and presentation, sir.